Having charmed and wowed students in North London last year, Michelle Obama is now getting the opportunity to return the favour and welcome some of them to her home turf. 10 students from schools in Islington won an essay contest and were invited to the White House as personal guests of the First Lady. Well, joining us now is the head teacher of Elizabeth Garrett Anderson Language College for Girls, who have one student on the trip to the White House. Jo Dibb joins us, as you can see. Hi, Jo. You must be so excited and pleased and proud.
I'm so excited for all of them. What an experience! And to go from Islington to Washington and to the White House
So
and to meet the First Lady.
What actually happened?
When we were marking Black History Month, Cambridge Education at Islington, which runs the education services in Islington, launched a competition, and the competition was open. Oh,
isn't that lovely?
Oh, wonderful!
Are you looking for your little one?
Yeah,
she'll be there somewhere.
She'll be there in a minute. There's Nana.
Oh,
on
fantastic.
the left in the pink and the grey, smiling, really smiling away. Oh, look at that!
Isn't that lovely that she's going around to say hello to all of them?
Fantastic.
And your little one's just around the corner here.
Yeah, she's going to be there. That's Nana.
Big hugs for everyone.
Oh, look. Oh.
So you were telling us she came over?
Aren't they lucky? Yeah. So Cambridge Education at Islington approached
She's
the embassy.
Sitting next to her. Oh, we missed that. She was sitting next to the First Lady. We'll have a look in a sec.
Okay. Cambridge Education approached the embassy and said, we want to mark Black History Month, can you support us? And they said, well, we'll support an essay competition open to all Islington secondary schools, and we'll have a winner from each school, and we will sponsor a trip to Washington. Part of that would be a trip around the White House, but they didn't know till 2 weeks ago that Mrs. Obama had agreed to meet them. So that was an extra, icing on the cake, as it were, but just how fantastic for them.
And it was an essay?
It was an essay about the Windrush. And so they all had to research it. All the finalists from each school were then interviewed by a team of judges, including embassy staff, and then the winners were decided.
And she came to your school, didn't she?
She did, yes.
Last April?
April the 2nd last year.
Okay, and tell us about that.
Well, I'm sure you saw the news coverage.
It
was the most... Oh, there we are again. It was the most fantastic event, and just seeing it again brings it all back. And it was just so important that she chose an Islington school. It's an area where, students they don't have all the advantages that other students might. And in our school in particular, it's a school where young women go on to achieve really highly, as they do in all the Islington schools. They may face disadvantage, but they really do achieve against the odds.
Well, that's fantastic. You know what? I'm being told that apparently Mrs. Obama has mentioned your school again today. This is what she said at the White House. Have a quick listen.
You know, when I was in the UK and visit the Elizabeth Garrett School, I had, that was one of the most memorable moments for me in my first year. I've gotten to travel a lot of places, but the time that I spent with Nana and her fellow students meant a lot to me because, as I said then, I see myself in you all.
Oh. Thank you, Mrs. Obama.
That's a bit special, isn't it?
It was pretty special for us, but I'm sure it did make an impression on her.
And it was one of the most important moments of her first year in office.
I think it probably was, and she was visibly moved. And I think she really felt a connection with the girls, and there was a resonance about what she was saying that I'm sure she felt for herself.
What do you think these young ladies and gentlemen will bring back from this trip with them?
This is going to be something they are going to tell their children about, their grandchildren about. They're going to come back with such fantastic self-esteem, because it doesn't matter who they are or where they've come from. They have been to the White House, they've been greeted by the First Lady. They are really special, and what our young people need is things to make them feel good about themselves. We know they're great, but sometimes they don't have that confidence in themselves.
I'm so excited for you, and they're not even my kids. It's just amazing. Tell us a bit more about the trip. What else are they going to do while they're there?
Well, they're seeing all the sights, and they're going to a university when they're a Black university. They'll be going to the museums. I really do hope they make the most of it. I'm absolutely sure they will, although I do think after today nothing else will compare, will it?
And how much interest was there in the writing competition?
Well, when it was launched in the school, there was a ripple around the hall as it was announced, and I could sort of see girls who were thinking, yeah, they really wanted to be part of that. And at that time, they didn't know that they were going to meet the First Lady. But I think there was something very special about the notion of going to Washington, because the First Lady had been to EGA and been to Islington.
Jo, it's been an absolute pleasure to welcome you into the studio. Fascinated to know what stories she comes back with. Perhaps you can bring her in when she gets back.
Love to. But
That
first
will
thing,
be-
I'm going to listen to them.
Yeah, okay, but it's a date. We'll see you
Yeah,
then.
all right,
Thanks very
thank
much
you.
indeed.